Great. All right. Welcome to the Road Advisory Committee meeting, March 4th, 2026. Calling this meeting to order at 6:30. Bob, could you call the roll, please?
David?
Here.
Here.
Present.
Oh, here.
Here.
All right. Adoption of the agenda. There was earlier from OHM the presentation, so I did upload that to the packet, and then I sent everyone a copy or an email with that attachment. I did print 3 copies, so if anybody else wants a copy of it, it's not very long. So that's
what you printed is what you sent to us as well?
Yes. Well, for the Bob, David, and myself. I don't think you responded. Okay. Well, anyways, that's the only addition I have. Anybody else?
I'm just curious, what is the deadline for correspondence to get the correspondences?
The day that I publish is, so I try to publish on Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda as
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second it.
Caroline and Ian, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Agenda is adopted. Public comment. This is the time for members of the public to speak for up to 5 minutes on any matter under the purview of the Roads Advisory Committee. Anyone present would like to speak, come up to the table. Okay. Let's go online and any hands raised.
Paula Gloverson?
Okay.
Yeah, hello, Road Commission. Thanks for being there.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, Paula.
Yes, some new members. Hope you all had a good day. Real quick, the initial problems with Park Road has never been addressed. The speed limit that people are going to be traveling down there, the cutting of the trees. And a couple of you will remember the email, and you too, Jillian, of the person who felt that we should just work out of Will Hathaway's office. And you know what I'm talking about. And that's still up in my mind. But you are going to, and many of the people don't realize that their entire backyard is going to be just diminished. And I don't think you really want to go around supporting that without discussing that. But eventually something will happen there. And the board will make the decision. And I appreciate all your knowledge, Jillian. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Anyone else?
Mary?
Okay.
Hi, everybody. It's Mary Gillis.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, I was looking at the agenda earlier and
Oh, wait a minute, Mary. Oh.
Hello?
Oh, here. Go ahead. Start again. Something happened.
It's Mary Gillis. I read the road funding presentation for the Board of Trustees, H3, and I saw that it was dated from 2023. Is the information that was just handed out, is that a newer version of that?
The 2023, that came from Roy Townsend, Bob Walsh, and Patrick Shields, and that's the only version I had.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that information will be, updating that will be perhaps under discussion today.
Oh, yes. It's just it's a template. That's all it is for us.
Yeah, very impressive. Okay, thanks very much.
Yep, thank you. Is there another version of that?
There's a gentleman here who wanted to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just heard what the first of all, my name is Nicholas Ehrlich. I live in Trailwood. I heard the comments that the first person made about backyards being greatly diminished. My understanding of what I've read is that while trees will be cleared, the trees that will be cleared won't actually be on anyone's property. Is that true?
That would be in the right-of-way and the, correct? Well, Mark and Sally could answer that later when they do their
Okay,
presentation.
so to be clear, while, you know, the statement "to be greatly diminished" is an opinion based on what's happening in the right-of-way, not necessarily within actual property owner's land. There's no eminent domain happening.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Angela, any other hands raised?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, now it's time for presentations. Sally Boss and Mark, what is it?
Mark Locke.
Locke. Okay, I know that.
Yep.
It's been a long day. From OHM, and OHM has been working on this. We had, okay, let's give a little back history. So the township, under, not this board, but the board before, had submitted an application to Michigan, the MEDC grant.
Yes.
For the Z Road pathway and then also for Park Road project.
I mean, what?
Michigan
Economic Development Corporation.
Economic.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Michigan Educational Credit Union. And we were granted for different phases of the Z Road pathway, or for the, the Z Road pathway, but then we were also granted, I think it was around 800,000 for Park Road project. That's including paving and the pathway. The board had approved around 90,000 for engineer study, and that's what OHM has been working on, along with the road commission and everything else that goes along with that. So this is why they're here tonight, to give us an overview. And I know that in the Road Advisory Committee, we have, of course, I think everybody knows about this project, but we've never really discussed it. And it helps us because we're working on a presentation to the board for road funding. Okay.
All right. I'm Sally Voss. I'm one of the township engineers. I'm with OHM Advisors. I've been working with the township for well over a decade now. And I've been involved in this project since the beginning, and I have Mark Locke here, who's my design lead and project manager. So back in 2023, like Jillian said, we were authorized for a preliminary engineering study, which was to pave Park Road from Cedar Ridge Drive to Zeeb Road, and also investigate some drainage complaints around Somerset Point, which also ties into this. Following that engineering study, we were approved for final design, which started in fall of 24. Which was to get the paving of Park Road, including the pathway, the road itself, and drainage improvements all ready to go out for bid. So here's our timeline a little bit. We've been working on this for a couple of years now, like I said. Unfortunately, in summer 25, we were talking with the road commission and we hit a few roadblocks in terms of tree removals and some other conflicts with utilities and things. I'll let Mark talk about that a little bit more here. As well as the Trailwoods project, which, as you know, has completed a further section of paving of Park Road from Cedar Ridge Drive to Stabler. So once that was going forward, this one took a little bit of a backseat. We've been working with the township to try to figure out a resolution to some of these issues that we're going to talk about. So I'll let Mark take it from here.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Mark Locke. I'm with OHM's Transportation Group. I've been with the company for 35 years, so I've been around a while. I did a lot of road projects around here. I designed Jackson Road and Zeeb Road south of Jackson Road, so I've done a lot of projects in the area over the years. So I'm glad to be back in this area and doing another project here on Park Road. As Sally mentioned, we were hired to do the design plans for Park Road between Zeeb and Cedar Ridge. It's a straight gravel, excuse me, it's a straight gravel road, And you think it would be an easy job to design, but we came across several challenges that we had to overcome here. And that's kind of the reason we're here tonight, just try to work our way through these. And I'll go through some of those. The first thing is trees. Obviously, this township is very sensitive of tree removals. This area is tree lined on both sides. The cross section that the road commission wants to use is a wider cross section. It's not only the two driving lanes, but it includes a shoulder and a curb and gutter. And that footprint gets into the tree line on both sides of the road. So there's significant tree loss in putting in this section. Besides the actual footprint impact, there's something called a clear zone impact. When you touch a road and you pave a road, you've got to bring it up to standards. And obviously this is a fast road. This has, right now it's a statutory, I think it's an unmarked speed limit, 55 miles an hour. When you pave it, it's going to have a speed limit, most likely 55 or 50 miles an hour, unless a speed study's done. And that's no guarantee that it's going to go down from there. But when you pave it, you've got to have a clear zone from fixed objects. For this speed of a road, it requires a 17-foot clear zone, meaning you can have no fixed objects within 17 feet of the edge of pavement.
On either side.
On either side. So that means not only is the footprint of the road an issue taking down trees, you got another 17 feet beyond there. So that swath really is clearing out this area. Now going back to the gentleman's concern about does this impact private property, it does not. All this is in the public right-of-way. All the trees are within Washtenaw County's right-of-way, so we don't have to get grading permits or anything like that from anybody. The only grading permit we do need on the project is at the entrances for the two subdivisions at the west end. There's some sidewalk and paving pathway work that requires us just to get into the corners of that property to properly align the pathway. It's really not a roadway issue, it's a pathway issue. So we got to touch those properties, and that's the only, probably need a permanent pathway easement to do the pathway the way we want to do it. The second thing that came up, besides the trees, is there's a very large DTE underground duck bank under the road. I don't know if you saw it in the Trailwoods project, it was on the south side of the road. Well, that duck bank curves over to the north side. And it just so, and this is a good picture of it. This is Park Road looking east. So the south side is on the right, and you can see there's two duck banks. There's a diagonal one that kind of crosses the road, and then there's a parallel one that goes straight. And that parallel one ends, it goes up that pole. The wires go up that pole, and it kind of ends there. But it's the diagonal one that crosses over to the north side, and it runs on the north side the whole length all the way down to Park Road. Well, this is a rather substantial utility here, and it's very expensive to relocate this. It just so happens, and it's a little bit hard to see here, but that's our proposed design. And you can see where those two red arrows are. We have catch basins. Those black squares are going to be catch basins in the curb line. Those just fall right on top of that duck bank. Of course, it has to hit perfectly. So that duck bank is in conflict with our proposed road work as it stands with this current design. So we need to figure out a way to really avoid that. I mean, we could have them relocated, but you're talking probably $1 million worth of cost to DTE, and we'd rather not do that if we don't have to do that. Obviously, any cost to anybody, we try to avoid and try to design around if we can. So we got to figure out a solution to that. How can we build our catch basins and miss their duck bank is another challenge, and we've got some thoughts on that. And the last thing is the coordination. And well, let's go look at this picture first before I jump into this. Here's a section. This is looking west. So it's looking the opposite. The other picture was down Park Road. And what I tried to draw there is a footprint of the road there in yellow. I tried to show you where the curbs would be. They'd be outside the existing gravel road limits. Showed the curb and gutter there, and then showed the grading beyond that. And I tried to circle there in red the trees that would be impacted, the tree line that would come out. Now on both sides there would still be trees left. You're not taking down every tree along both sides of the road. The left side or the south side, you can see that subdivision has an evergreen tree buffer. You can see those trees on the left side of that picture. It pretty much goes almost the whole way. Those are good buffer trees for noise. because they obviously don't drop leaves or anything, so they provide a good sound buffer, and that's a good buffer on the south side. The north side doesn't have that so much, but it will still have trees remaining when we're done. We're not taking every tree down on that side to build what we need to build. So that kind of gives you an idea of the widening and the impacts we have.
How wide is that road now? And how wide will it be after all this clears?
So when I measured that gravel road, it's about 22 feet wide right now. The widened road would be like an 11-foot lane plus a 4-foot shoulder plus a 2-foot curb and gutter. So that's like 17 feet on each side. So it's 34 feet. So you're looking at 22 feet versus 34 feet.
That includes a 17-foot.
That does not include the
That does not
17.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
How wide will the road be after you do all the work?
So the road will be 34, but the clearance would be another 34 feet beyond that. So it'd be
So-
68 feet wide.
And
You know,
that's
but-
gonna be right away to right away line, because road commission right of ways are 66 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell us an equivalent road so we can just visualize it?
Well, the Park Road towards Trailwoods.
It's the same
Correct, it'd be
thing.
the same
Same
cross section as in
section.
front of Trailwoods.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Have you been down there lately?
Not recently. I have seen it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same section. They wanted us to continue that same look. And that's what we used.
Okay. But there weren't trees, I don't remember
No.
trees, or very few had to be removed for that section for Trailwoods.
Correct, there were not as many trees down there. The tree line really starts east of Cedar Ridge.
Yeah, okay.
So I think what I heard is 22 feet goes to 68 feet?
So it's 22 foot of road. It's 11 and 11 foot
Yeah,
lanes.
yeah.
2 4-foot shoulders. That's 8 feet. 2 2-foot curb and gutters. And then remember, and I think I misstated here a little bit, that 17 feet isn't measured from the back of the new curb. It's measured from the travel lane. So it doesn't go out 68 feet. It goes in a little less than that. I would say, 60 or so. I have to do the math.
I'm just trying to visualize
Yeah.
what the people living there are
Sure.
going to see.
Sure.
Right now, they see 22 feet.
Right.
What are they going to see when it's all said and
They're
done?
going to see 34 feet of
No,
road,
give me the total, please.
60 feet of wide open space.
60
34
60
foot
feet of
road.
wide
So,
open space.
so they're going to see 3 times the amount of open space
Correct.
that they have now.
Correct.
Correct.
Doesn't look like there's enough room.
I mean, if we were living there, would we want to see 3 times, you want to see Delhi go 3 times?
Well, but
No.
here's the thing, is that there's a lot of residents in Arbor Point that have been screaming, well, figuratively, regarding the gravel and the dust, and, they can't go out in their backyards because of the
But do
dust.
they know that, what the end result's going to look like?
Not yet, because
No,
these are,
so-
well, Bob, this is why we have the engineers looking at all of this with WCRC, and then there's more to this project, because the next slide,
My point is, the people are complaining about a particular thing, but they haven't seen what the final result may look like, and they may complain even more.
probably, somebody's always gonna
Well, I
complain
think we
about
need to
something, Bob.
give them a chance to, the facts need to be out there.
Well,
You know,
yes,
The fellow in the back asked about this, and how does that sound to you? 22 versus 60 feet now? Did we really answer your question
Am I
before?
allowed to speak as?
sure, go ahead, yeah.
As a member of the public, I live in Trailwoods. I am very much in favor of getting this project done. I'm tired of the gravel road. I'm tired of having to cut through Cedar Ridge to prevent myself from driving on that road. There's a significant amount of traffic that goes through Cedar Ridge now that Trailwoods is up. I would suggest that you ask those people how they feel about people speeding through their subdivision now, since there's a significant amount more traffic that goes around there now. I think that we're in early stages of this presentation. There may be ways to mitigate the fact that we're taking those trees down. I would suggest that we look into that. There's all sorts of variables here, but if you're talking about just going from the dirt road to a paved road, that there are a lot of benefits to that for a lot of people. Including and let me just state this, including the people that that live in the affected area. Because you've asked me, I'm not in the affected area. My backyard already backs up to Park Road, literally. And the people that live there are asking for it because of things that Jillian just mentioned. Gravel, road noise, and just, I would offer to have you come by after they regrade it for the next 24 hours and stand there and smell the fumes. There are significant problems with maintaining the road the way it is now.
And this is just another stage in this whole process, because again, when it goes in front of the board may say no, the board may say yes, but there's a lot of different steps before we even get to that point. And Sally, go ahead with the rest, because there's. Okay.
So a couple more improvements that were planned out here. So we haven't mentioned the pathway. There's a desire to put an 8-foot pathway along this stretch that we talked about. When we're trying to decide whether to put it on the north side or the south side, there's pros and cons of each one. We're favoring the north side. The Trailwoods path is on the north side. As a user, as a biker or walker, when you get to Park Road, are you tending to go towards Jackson Road, or you tending to go away? Maybe most users would go towards the more developed Jackson area. So you have people using this pathway, possibly heading north on it. What we want to try to avoid is people unnecessarily crossing this road. Again, it's a high-speed road without the benefit of a traffic signal there. It can get dangerous, especially for kids. So for that reason, we would favor putting that pathway on the north side. The pathway really doesn't have an impact on the tree clearing. It's going to fit in that 17-foot clear zone area as we spoke before, so it really doesn't take down any more trees.
And it would remain in the right of way as well.
And it would stay in the right of way as well, correct. And a big part of our study, when we did the study, was what to do with the intersection. And you can see from this exhibit up here, the deflection that's in existing Park Road. You see how it has a kink or a bend to it. When you're looking at, originally we were going to put a traffic signal in at this location. When you put a traffic signal there from the stop sign it is today, you get the potential for a green light on Park Road. So you got the potential to go through that intersection at 50 miles an hour. That deflection or curve becomes a real problem. So we looked at putting a big curve in there and super elevations where you tip the road. And we had to chase the project all the way out to the east side, quite a ways to get that curve to fit. And we actually got into some property there on the northwest corner of Zeeb and Park Road. We were having to take some property from that corner to put that curve in there. Then we looked at potentially putting a roundabout in there instead of a traffic signal. And that really, I think, is a real benefit to it. It really minimizes the speed now. You can't go through a roundabout at 50 some miles an hour. So you slow down to 20 miles an hour. So the Road Commission agreed to look at that. They hired a consultant to do a little sketch, and this is what they came up with. This is kind of a concept of what that roundabout could look like in the footprint it would have at the intersection. And again, a lot of benefits there. You don't, with the traffic signal, you had a big curve along Park Road and some right-of-way takes. This pretty much stayed out of everything. It still needs to be designed. That's not a formal design. The Road Commission applied for funding, and they got some funding for this in 2028. The funding is supposed to be. So they would have a project here in 2028 to build that roundabout.
Those are federal funds.
Those are federal funds, correct.
So the Road Commission is currently working on getting a design firm to design this for construction in 2028.
I have a question. At the bottom, there is a red circle, and then there's a line that goes, well, it looks like it's going through Somerset Glen. Yeah, but I can't see where it goes or what it's for.
So that is part of the drainage area concerns that we've had. There's been some complaints in Somerset Glen of flooding, which as you know, that's also Parkwood. Part of that whole property is actually in the floodplain of the Honey Creek. But what we've determined here is that some of the runoff from Park Road is overtopping the road and flowing into the Country French Pond, which you can see on the lower left corner there. And because of that overflow, there's more water going out through that pond outflow and across under the road in that lower red circle, which is causing some of the flooding issues. So by putting curb and gutter on this section of Park Road, which we have to chase it farther than what Road Commission is going to here to solve the drainage issue. But by putting curb there and installing a couple drainage structures, we're actually routing some of that water north up Zeeb instead of south, which will help with that flooding issue. So this project, just by paving the road and putting curb and gutter in, actually improves area residents' flooding issues as well, just by preventing the road runoff from overtopping that existing, we call it country curb. It's just that gravel hump that happens between the grass and the road.
Yeah, what happens in that bottom circle is the water gets, there's a culvert under the road, under Zeeb Road there, and it gets to that, behind that condominium's backyard, and it floods out their backyard pretty bad. So there's also some improvements we would do there to prevent that water from flowing into their backyard. And as Sally said, we route all that water to the north. There's a storm sewer system north of the roundabout circle there on the west side of the road that takes it all the way north of Jackson Road into the Honey Creek over there. So we're basically taking all this water that used to flow into their backyard and routing it north away from this area to prevent that flooding behind that property.
How do you move that water? Is there like a pump or something?
No, it's all gonna be gravity storm sewer. We're able to put storm in. That storm sewer is pretty deep along Zeeb Road there. And we're able to just get it, put in a shallow storm sewer that gravity flows right into that system.
Just by getting it contained within the road and the curbs and then getting it into the pipes, we can route it a different direction.
So that was part of the study we looked at. So the last concern that we would have just with all this is how do we coordinate our project on Park Road with this project that the Road Commission is going to have? Again, there was some talk about maybe combining them. They got federal aid. The project that we have does not. You really don't like to combine them. It gets complicated. There's various elements of work that you have to do with a federal aid project that makes the Park Road, would make the Park Road job more expensive if you were to combine it. So it may make sense to keep them separated, but build them in the same year. If you're gonna build it and bother the people and close the road down, let's just do it once. Let's do it the roundabout and Park Road at the same year. It could be two different contractors, maybe one contractor will get both jobs.
And
You don't
the
know.
Road Commission has requested to limit the closings of Park Road as much as possible because the Trailwoods project just went and that had multiple closures, and then their roundabout project is going to go. And then this project in the middle, they said if this one's gonna go, we'd like to see them go relatively close together to limit the closures and the impacts to the residents.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay.
That was fine.
Is the roundabout, the federal roundabout project, is that already approved? Is that happening regardless of what happens with Park Road?
Yes, the earmark for the roundabout is happening and they are scheduled for summer of '28.
Actually, yesterday at the Road Commission board meeting, it was on their agenda. I think that was the first real conversation. I mean, I know there's been other conversation. Was it yesterday? What is today? Wednesday, yeah, it was yesterday. So wasn't it?
But does Scio Township still need to approve that?
No, because it's a primary road and the Road Commission owns all the roads, but the primary they take care of. So they'll probably ask for some funding, but.
I will say, just as a statement, it is nice to see that a roundabout is going there because that is the point where it goes from 55 down to 45 and nobody goes down to 45 until they get closer to Jackson Road.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I live on the other side of Park Road and sitting there waiting and then you have to look across and it's crooked and yeah, this will be convenient.
Significant safety improvement as well.
Flip it to the next.
I've literally seen mothers pushing children in strollers trying to get across Zeeb Road right at Park
Yeah.
from one from French country over to the other side. And cars are.
Yeah, it's a long crossing.
Our office is right there too, and I've tried to cross there myself, just by myself, and it's tricky.
But there's no pedestrian crossing near a roundabout, correct?
There can be. I don't know what their plans are for that yet. But yes, you can have sidewalks crossing through a roundabout and cross on each leg. So there may be improvements there yet. I think that's still to be designed, as far as I know.
That would be a
I
significant.
don't know if we were supposed to talk. I have comments if we're gonna have question and answer with Trailwoods.
Well, go ahead with your presentation, and if other questions come up.
So the next step, so what do we need to get this job moving forward here? We need a geometric resolution to avoid the DTE duct bank. The last thing we want to do is have them move their duct bank. That could be a year-long process or more, lots of money. It's debatable on who pays for that. I don't want to get too deep into that, but we think there's options to miss that duct bank with our design. It's maybe more of a road commission coordination on exactly what we can do to move those structures out of the way of that duct bank. There's a couple different options. We could slide the road over. The road commission usually likes it centered. The road's centered in the right of way. We could slide it to one side and maybe miss those duct banks. We could change the location of the curb. Instead of putting it behind the shoulder, we can move it up to the edge of pavement and miss that duct bank. We just need a little more coordination with them to pick an option on how to miss that duct bank.
So that's up to them?
It's up to the road commission. It's their road. They're gonna own it, so they'll get final say, yes. So we need that. The next way is the pathway location. Again, two choices, north side or south side. Again, it really doesn't have any bearing on trees. It's just what side would you prefer it on? It seems like the north side would work in our opinion, but if you had other thoughts to move it to the south, that's fine. Could go on either side. And lastly, it's like I mentioned, the road. What to do with the road? Do we center it? Do we shift it to one side? Again, for tree clearing purposes. We talked about shifting it for the duct bank, but we could also shift it if it's desired to save more trees on the north side and to take more trees on the south side. We could slide it over to the south, if it's vice versa. You could move it to the north. Again, that's just from a tree clearing perspective. What do you want to do with that? We did look at, we went out with township staff and we looked at looking at the types of trees that were out there. Certainly there's good trees and bad trees. We logged the ones that we thought were good. We tried to kind of meander the pathway and try to keep the good trees if we could. And some of the other trees, it really wasn't a big deal if we took them out. But in doing that, some of the trees would have been in the clear zone, and the road commission was now wavering on their desire to remove the trees. They said they just run into too many problems, too many accidents with cars hitting trees out, certainly in this county, and they were pretty firm to say that we do not want any trees within that 17-foot clear zone. So they're pretty unwavering on that. So with that, we're going to have to cut that swath of trees out of there.
You're talking about the north side?
The north side or
Both
the south
sides.
side, north side, yeah, they can't have those trees within 17 feet of the edge of pavement.
I'm looking at Google Maps of that, the section, and I'm looking east of Versailles Avenue on the south.
Yes.
And it looks like a whole bunch of homes on the north side are gonna come right up against that 17-foot bump. But you're saying the pathway would be within that 17?
Correct.
Within that
Okay.
17.
So it won't be any kind of additional?
Won't be any
No.
If it were on the north side?
Correct.
Okay.
Unless there was a desire to put the pathway out further from the road, and then you take out more trees, but it can fit within that 17 feet.
Look at, there's a lot more room to play with the south side, but that's where the DTE ductwork is, right?
On the north side.
It's still on the north side. The DTE duct bank is in conflict with the road edge, not the pathway. So
Right.
whichever side of the road the pathway is on is somewhat inconsequential. The only bad thing about the south side, at least in our opinion, is the safety concern of crossing people twice.
Yeah.
Because you'd have to cross
At Trailwoods.
at Trailwoods, and then you'd have to cross again at Park, and without traffic signals on either end, and it being a 55-mile-an-hour road.
And
that's-
Carolyn, I did have them look at the south side as well, because that was one of my concerns.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, just looking at
Yeah, but,
Okay.
yeah.
There's room on either side, because we have to take out the trees regardless. The original plan on the north side was to meander, like Mark said, to try to avoid the good quality trees, and then when we met with the road commission, they were unwilling to take the liability of leaving any of those trees there, unfortunately.
Solid about that. Thank you.
That's pretty much it. That's,
So open to questions if you have questions for us, or we'll let you discuss and you'll be here to meet us.
Members, questions?
How do we get WCRC together with you to solve that first issue?
we've met with them on several occasions. They're more than willing to meet with us. So it's just getting them together. Once we kind of come up with, this is what we want, we can get back with them. I'm sure we can come up with some solution to, because they're not in favor of moving that duck bank either. They understand the cost it would be. There's got to be a solution there to design this around that duck bank.
Anyone else?
Just understanding funding now for Park Road. 800,000 comes from,
MEDC, and it's less than that because of the engineering cost, and then, it's for both the paving and the pathway.
and then the township comes up with the balance? Because it's gonna be more than 800,000, right?
This isn't a real expensive job. It's not a long job. It's less than a half a mile. So I think our estimate was that, do you remember 800, like 800,000?
No, it was higher than
Was it higher than that? I don't know why else.
I think it was 1.6,
Oh, is it that much?
0.5.
Okay.
It's less
I'd
than
have to look
that.
again.
I think it,
I think we'd be in
at first it was like 4 million for the whole thing, but that's when we thought about the four, or back in the day, the street lights, the pathway, the paving, yeah, all of that,
I
but
think the last official estimate we have was probably the preliminary one that still included all the intersection work.
Yeah.
Because of the tree
Oh.
clearing, I don't think we've actually run a final
Yeah.
engineer's estimate at this point.
Now the job would stop short of the intersection because the intersection's being done by the road commission so that the job got shorter.
driving
It's
the
just shorter and
street.
cheaper, yep.
yeah.
So any balance over 800,000 is paid by
The township.
the township?
And regarding the speed limit, so this is having conversations with the road commission. Township we can't change the speed limit, the road commission can't, that has to go to the state police, and then and then there has to be a petition for what do you call it?
Speed study.
Speed study, and that could, depending on how fast the cars go, that can actually raise the speed limit. So there's some variables there, but from what I remember, and I think even at the road commission, when they were talking about different, roundabouts, that the roundabout would actually slow the speed down because you have to slow down to get around to wherever you're going. But, yeah. Okay, anybody else from the members that have anything? Paula?
Yeah. I go back to what I came back to 6 years ago when Roy Townsend was here. It's the speed limit, the trees, and actually the flooding that may occur because it's already a wetland over there. Now, I don't live there. I don't even have to put my time into it. But people are not informed. I don't know, unless you're talking about Roy and a few other people, we don't get that much traffic. I'm on Rockwood Court. Unfortunately, I've been home quite a bit. I have not seen that. I have talked about putting a camera there to actually see who's coming into our neighborhood. What's keeping it, I would be concerned about your children going over there, no offense even with the pathway. You're gonna have people going down there 50, 55 miles an hour. All you have to do is look at the Scio church one that they're thinking about putting in as well. They're gonna have to take out a large portion with that guy's house. So you're talking about really backing up to those people. And when I have spoken in the past to those people, they did not want it. They were afraid that they were gonna be made to pay for it as well. And we're talking about, no, you know exactly what I'm gonna talk. I don't wanna talk to you, Jillian, because you actually really trigger me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so.
Then please
Please.
finish what you need to say,
So.
so we can get on with the meeting.
You changed your tune since you were elected. But there are issues there with this being so wide. I came back from the hospital the other day, and you come down Miller, the trees are right there, and a sidewalk. And that's because the speed limit's lower. Drive down Miller towards Main Street. You will see what I'm talking about. But all of a sudden, I think there's different reasons why this is my own opinion, why you've changed your tune. And I'm very concerned about that. And I did not make it public what I knew that somebody on the road commission, as well as what other people, including when Roy was here, of shoving this down. He went to the HOA and had people write letters because they were deathly afraid that we were over on Red Rock Court, that they were going to have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars. Now, I've already been to attorney 6 years ago about this whole thing. I don't even live over there. This is an issue. Yes, it should be paved eventually. They need to lower that speed limit. These kids go across into country French, you're gonna have people killed. That has always been my supposition there. Because that's where the kids go. They go over to country French, they have a playground over there. And that's all I have to say for now.
Actually, maybe they're all over Ann Arbor. The crosswalks with the flashing lights, maybe something can go there.
Absolutely.
Could you add that to the list to look into, please?
I'm frankly shocked that we can't do anything about the speed. But
That's what you should do.
yeah, 55 in a built-up area like this just seems absolutely crazy.
Excuse me, I would like to just say before you leave that as someone who actually lives right there,
That's right.
I hear, hold on,
Trees are nothing.
hold on. If we're talking about speed, I know nothing about the politics and history and all of the things that you're bringing to this. But I want to address the speed.
I'll give you my
People
phone
are all,
number. We can have a
gonna
big
let me say,
discussion.
people already drive 50 to 55 miles an hour down that road right now, even on the gravel part. So,
We have heard that before.
I feel for what you're saying. I don't want them to be going 50 or 55 miles an hour. I would love it if we could change the speed limit, but to bring up the speed limit as a reason to not pave that road is a false dichotomy.
Great, and I'll explain a lot of things to you.
I'm not interested in all of the
Okay.
history and the politics. What I'm
It's not the
interested in
politics
is,
of it, it's about what is the truth about it.
okay, I just want to move forward and look forward to what do we need to do to solve the problem of Park Road, regardless of what happened in the past.
Are speed bumps to slow people down, is that generally not because of emergency vehicles?
That's one of the reasons, yeah.
Emergency vehicles, road maintenance, they make it very hard to maintain and plow the roads.
But no, the road, we just did that, all the way down to downtown.
They wouldn't allow a speed bump
I was saying,
on this
the
road.
road commission would not put speed bumps on
Mainly
this
for
road.
residential.
It's the city of Ann Arbor too. They have their own.
So your prior question of approximate cost, it's around $2 million. I pulled our estimate from preliminary study.
But that's for the traffic light,
No.
not the random, oh.
That is just the paving portion with the pathway. It's right around 2.1.
What's the total distance, do you happen to know?
0.57 miles.
Okay.
It's 0.57, we looked at that before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, what was that?
0.57.
just over half a mile. With the initial signalized intersection in there, that would have been 4.5.
So the excess of 800 So the 1.2, the township would need to come up with. Okay. Just trying to understand the
I was
funding.
with you.
There's another question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who?
The staff parks on one side of the road and the hospital's on the other, and they push a button and yellow lights flash, and they have a little walkway. And it's everybody stops, and it really works well. And I don't know what those are called, but
Yeah.
Well, RFBs are rapid flashing beacons.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's a push button and they flash.
I wish they would be flashing red, because, you know, when the sun's out and they're yellow and they're flashing, and they're really hard to see, but everybody knows what red means, you know?
Yeah.
But for some reason.
Unless you're colorblind.
What
Just
color,
telling you.
what color can you see?
10% of the male population is colorblind, so I hate it when people use red and green. That's retarded. Excuse the use of that word.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Murphy has a problem.
no, David wasn't finished yet. You had something else to say.
And then the lady over here.
Oh,
wanted
okay,
to ask-
no, this is, Murphy Harrington, our Parks Director.
Oh, hi
Yeah.
Murphy.
Question about, not to go back to the speed limit, but is the speed limit also determined by how many like driveways abut that road?
That's a good question.
No,
No, okay.
strictly based on,
Fast cars go on it.
yep, they'll go out and measure it, they'll measure the speed of the cars and they take like the 80th percentile speed and that's what they set it at. And sometimes if you have a slower speed, you're at 40 miles an hour, and you want to do a speed study to get it down to 35, you can go the opposite way. Now, it's unlikely this would go faster because it's already as fast as is really allowed. So you don't have to worry about it going faster, but it's unlikely that it would go down. The roundabout would help it absolutely because you're slowing down as you approach that, and depending on where they did that speed study, that could have a significant impact on
Yeah,
that.
it'd be good from Versailles, because you'd be decelerating at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, the speed limit thing is weird because it's more of a descriptive measure than a prescriptive. It's you would think it would be like how fast should cars go on this road, and it's really not. It's like how fast do they go, and we'll set it there. And then so in order to actually impact it, and you guys will know more about this than I would, but you really get into like environmental factors. Like you'll see in a lot of places where they have started like narrowing or bump outs around intersections and things to like sort of psychologically induce people to drive slower.
I would say you can artificially lower speed limits just by striping your travel lanes smaller.
Yeah,
And
right.
we've done that in other communities where we've had the wide roads, and instead of 11 or 12-foot travel lanes, you stripe them at 10, and people automatically, psychologically will slow down. That is an option we could discuss with the road commission. I don't know if they'll go for it. If it's, I mean, it is their road, so they do have final say on some of these design parameters, but.
And that still, you know, that wouldn't guarantee that the speed limit would reduce. It would still necessitate us
Artificially
to
brings it down.
then do a study and
Correct.
we hope that it's a strange process.
If you don't mind, there are more hands raised online, probably questions. One other thing about the speed limits, the rural areas, they're all 55. Think about, you know, you're out there, there's nobody around really. And our population has grown, like the Park Road and where I live, the east side, that's still 55. I won't walk it. I see people out there walking, but it's because they were deemed rural at one time. Then it just keeps growing and the speed limits stay the same. But go ahead.
Pam Boyd?
Thank you. Pam Boyd, Scio resident. So I've been following the Park Road issue for several years. I'm not a resident over there. I live on the other side, the northern side of the highway off of Zeeb. But I want to thank OHM and RAC for having this presentation to open up the conversation again about Park Road paving. Did that fast 3 times. I also was very encouraged to hear that the roundabout would slow down the traffic flow, which I think would be a great benefit. And coming east on Park Road, to me, mentally, I see this kind of with the southbound Z Road traffic. I would slow down just simply because they're kind of coming up an incline, and um, it just seems to me that I would want to slow down at that intersection anyway. because I wouldn't be able to have the best line of sight. So anyway, thank you for doing the presentation.
Thank you, Pam.
Next. Jonathan Greenberg.
Go ahead,
Hi,
Jonathan.
hi, this is Jonathan. I've lived on Park Road since 1989, and I can dispel any thoughts of the fact that anyone travels down Park Road slower than 55 miles an hour. It doesn't matter if it's dirt road, it doesn't matter if it's pocked with potholes after weeks of rain in the spring. People drive 60, 70. There was one case where some police pulled over a gentleman who was doing 110. So, when it was all gravel, and I could probably
Brave.
probably give you some more details around that. But yeah, no, the driving on Park Road has always been insane. As a matter of fact, since they've paved it to Stabler Road, the trail was, it seems like people are driving more reasonable. To be honest with you, I know it's maybe counterintuitive, but it appears to me that people are driving more civilized because it's a paved road. I don't know. It certainly seems that way to me, and I drive on it every day and have for the last 30 years. So thank you for bringing this to the public's attention and having this meeting. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. What else? No.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some things to think about, I guess. And yeah, if you could look into those couple of items with the road commission, maybe we could have some narrowed stripes. And what was the other? Oh, the crosswalk.
Crosswalk blinkers.
Yeah, blinkers. Oh, go ahead.
Is there any mechanism for the public to petition for a lower speed limit? I mean, you said it was prescriptive, right? The studies are, or the recommendations are descriptive as opposed to prescriptive. Is there any mechanism that the population of the county?
It's a good question. Off the top of my head, I don't know. We can look into that.
I'm not aware.
I'm not aware of one,
any.
but I don't want to say no definitively because I'm not
I'm not
an
aware of
expert
any,
there.
but.
The
that
road
doesn't mean
commission would probably know that.
I would contact road commission. They may have a better idea of where you can go to do that.
Thank you.
So RAC's involvement in this as we move forward, assuming that OHM and WCRC say, okay, this is the plan, everybody's happy with what is going to be going on together dates, it's going to jive with the 2028 roundabout and so on. The township will need to come up with the balance above the 800,000. So what impact does the road advisory committee have on either any kind of input to planning or I'm just kind of curious, is this presentation to educate us about where things are or do we have some say?
Well, where things are at this point, this has been in the works even before.
Long time.
Yeah, a long time. And the board will have the final say.
Yeah.
And so this is important for us to know because we're in the process of creating a presentation for dedicated road funding, which we don't have at this point.
All right.
Ongoing dedicated road funding.
But in some way, shape, or form, the township is going to have to come up with the money.
Yeah, or not do it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's always, there's
So
either
So
you do it or
it's-
you don't do it, that's the
It's
option.
that or
Those
it's
are the
that.
options.
It's either come up with the balance of the money once all the plans are done, or we don't do it.
Yeah, and we also, we do have the grant that was from, Donna Lisinski was the rep at the time, working with GCSI, our lobbyists, and they were able to get that grant. There may be more grant money out there. We just don't know, but we have our lobby committee now with David Reed, John Reiser, and Kathy Knoll. They're working with our lobbyist. So this could be potential.
Something for them to look into.
Yeah, and we could also, send them an email from RAC stating, please look into, of course, it will have to, the board would have to say, yeah, this is something what we want our lobbyists to look in, or to search for.
So who presents this to the board? What's the next steps? Action. You know, what's the next steps? Is there a meeting scheduled, WCRC, to resolve that first issue?
This has been the only meeting we've been requested to present at so far. That request would have to come from a township official or staff member.
And there's still questions that need to be answered. So that's why this is taking so long, because have a meeting and then questions come up and then we look into
So what are the
that.
next steps? Action, think action.
Well, okay, the
What do we
action
do
is,
next?
Bob, that they have some tasks to look into with the road commission. And then we could even ask the road commission about speed limit petitions and whatnot, and it's up to us to create this presentation to get some, potential road funding for this project.
Wait a minute. Again, you're confusing me. Next steps. We're not going to bring it to the board, correct? This committee is not bringing it to the board. Okay. They need to get with WCRC to work out the duct and all that kind of thing, right? The electrical work. And then what? Then you go to the board?
Then we would come back and we have a solution for all these issues we brought up, and then we would need to be authorized. We would need to be authorized to continue our design.
What are the steps? You and
The
WCRC agree?
Yep.
Okay. Who invites you back to the board? Not us.
No, our project manager is working with them,
Oh,
the township project
okay, you
manager.
didn't say that.
Okay.
And Carolyn was trying to get to that with her question, I think. Is what's the action items? How do we move this forward? I didn't hear that.
What is the time box for you guys getting back with the next presentation? What is your estimate for how long it will take to answer these questions that were raised tonight?
Meeting could be set up within the next month. That's not a problem. There's plenty of time to design this for 2028, unless you're looking to move it up, which I don't think you want to have the road under construction 2 years in a row. There's plenty of time to do that.
That wasn't my question.
I know, but
in my opinion, there's no such thing as plenty of time when it comes to government.
Yeah, that's true.
And roads, to be honest, you guys.
Yep.
There's not plenty of time. I'm asking, how long will it take for you guys to answer the questions and be prepared to come back to this committee should they ask you back?
Well, that depends on connecting with the road commission and their schedule, and that's not always.
3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year?
No.
It's not just OHM that is in charge of the timeline. They have to work with parks
I
too.
get it. I'm just asking for like a general quarter, like is it possible to have this answered in 3 months? To have another meeting to see some of these questions
within
answered?
3 months,
To see
absolutely.
progress, see what progress has been made.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
Sure, Murphy.
So if we're looking at potentially 2028, the MEDC grant for this project, we're still waiting to get an extension. So as of right now, I'm pretty sure it expires in 2027.
We have not been involved with the
Okay.
MEDC
Then I'll
grant,
just
so I
say-
don't know the
I'll just say
details.
confidently, it definitely, as of right now, expires in 2027. We're still working on getting that extension because Parks is a big part of this project too. We don't even know how we're splitting the cost, and I think one thing important to consider, to your point, Caroline, is maybe whatever is left over of the MEDC grant money goes towards the paving, and maybe we have this millage that's dedicated in part to pathways. So if we need to take over part of that money and all of it goes towards the paving, I'm not saying that's definitely gonna happen because it's up to the board, but it's just something to consider if we're trying to, move it a little bit faster. So that's all.
Is there a real possibility that this grant may not get extended?
I think they're gonna extend it. Every time we've asked for an extension for Z Road pathway, we've received it, and they really want this money to get spent. So they're usually really flexible.
Okay.
I think that they're overwhelmed right now. Our contact, every time we call, her inbox says it's full, and we can't even leave messages anymore, so.
And when in 2027 does it expire?
In November.
Yeah, and we have plans, like we have shown, plans. I mean, there was a plan in the beginning, now there's more details to the plan, so more than likely MEDC will extend.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if that was like, uh-oh, or not.
No, I'm not,
Thank you, Murphy.
yeah. Yeah, thank you so much.
Even if we get agreement from road commission, there's still some directions that's needed from township leadership on some of the sides of the road and things like that. So there will be a couple of meetings, but to your point, I would say we could probably come back within 3 months with an update, at least of where we stand so far.
I think that would be really helpful, to schedule that.
Yeah.
For the road advisory in like 3 months, 3 months, 4 months. Like, where do we stand now? I think that would be awesome.
I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, great.
That would be great, thank you.
Well, thank you for attending tonight and the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
What was your last name, sir?
Boss,
BOS?
BOS.
We're finished with this. There's second public comments at the end.
Mark was Locke? Mark?
Block, LOCH.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, reports or discussion, as usual, we have our Washtenaw County Road Commission updates in here. And then we also have our rack task and projects list that's always going to be in reports, so we can follow that. We always have something to do.
A very interesting thing that came out of the Washtenaw County Road Commission meeting yesterday. And the issue was the state is lagging behind the wholesale tax, the Michigan Transportation Fund for the roads. And I don't know why there was did they really definitively say there was a lag behind?
They're like several months behind. In other words, they're just, the
4
money
months.
that they're seeing coming in from this is below what was projected to get.
And
Coming in
so
from where?
From the gas tax.
Oh,
the state giving to Washtenaw County Road Commission monies, they had initially budgeted for 45 million for the year, the Michigan Transportation Road Fund. And now they've had to reassess where they're at, and their budget now is 37 million because of this reimbursement from the collection of the taxes, the wholesale gas taxes.
There seems to be a lag,
okay.
and townships all over the state are like hair on fire about it. Apparently, it's a real big deal right now.
But the way it was explained to us is Scio Township is not involved. Their commitment of 266,000
For matching
Matching
funds.
grant,
funds.
the matching
It's
funds.
still gonna be there.
That's unaffected.
Okay,
It's unaffected.
as long as we match that.
Right,
Yeah.
but I was worried that they were, because they talked about taking some things down to previous year's levels, and I thought, uh-oh, that means maybe the matching fund will go down, but they didn't know. But that's just an interesting, like, data point that for the whole state of Michigan, various counties, there's a big lag in funds, and it's alarming to them. Everyone's saying, well, maybe it'll get better in February and March, but there's a lot less money than thought was coming in.
Yeah, it's almost to the point of, I think it's $2.1 million over the last 4 months that they haven't collected.
That they were
The
counting
township, or the county has not gotten from the state.
Yeah. That's just kind of an FYI that's happening.
And the neighborhood road funding portion of it from the state, and also the marijuana tax, I believe those are stuck in court.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that may be a while before those funds.
They're thinking that they probably won't see that until more like fourth quarter
Fourth quarter, okay. All right,
for that stuff, for that money.
well,
yeah.
the state had, the last budget or whatever, they're dedicated to roads, so eventually all of this is going to happen.
Right.
It's just, yeah.
Well, it was refreshing that both Matt and Dan, the finance guy, said, South Township, our townships are gonna be okay. We're still gonna fund them for the matching, so from that perspective, we're okay, even though they're taking a hit.
Okay. that's good to know, because,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we've been working hard on it. I know other townships have as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, well, let's move on to unfinished business. So H1 is the Road Advisory Committee charge. And we talked about this the last time, and, you know, everybody, I mean, we have our charge from the board, and this was set in place in 2021, but we need to, you know, have refreshers every once in a while. So I did include this. Hopefully everybody has read it. And this is, and we did, a couple years ago, we made some revisions. We used to have 9 members, and we requested to have 7. We were having issues finding members. Everybody wanted to be on Parks and Pathways because that's more fun. But anyway, so there's different things that we had recommended to the board for approval, and they did approve this. So this is our charge.
So this document is the most recent revision, the one
Yeah.
that you attached, okay.
Which is, you know, I think 2 years old now, or 3 years.
March 5, 2024, is what I see
Oh.
there. That's the very
Yeah,
bottom.
okay, it was pretty close. So these are our bylaws that are set by the township board.
If you take F out of there, the DDA doesn't exist anymore.
Right, yeah, so we probably could recommend some changes as well.
To the document, you mean?
Yeah, because as Bob said, the DDA.
Yeah.
And, you know, periodically, probably once a year, we should review this and see if there's anything needs to be updated along with our policies. But usually we do that around the time we set our schedule for the year, so that's November, I believe.
November-ish, yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, any new member, we provide that too. So the local road, the 2026 WCRC local road funding packet that came out, and we're going to kind of segue into what Caroline, okay, and we attended the WCRC workshop, the 201. So they were joking that we're now sophomores. We did it last year, and then we went again this year. And I included their presentation, and it was fun and amazing, and just a lot of things the things that we talked about, you know, what's the difference between the cracked seal and how much is that versus a mill and repave. So that was in there. And they actually left out something that we were including, the 450,000 per mile, where you just go down right to the bare bones and build up from there. They said that would be pretty rare to do, and it's very expensive. So for a township to take that on it would just eat up all our funds. So
So that's the pulverization and resurface.
Yes, there you go.
It is there on page 9.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the road funding, the local road funding packet, there may be I thought there was an extra copy over there, but they have on Appendix G, which is on page, I stapled mine backwards. So anyways, it's on page 22. Last year, Caroline, remember, or everyone, when we worked on our capital improvement plan, for a 0.50 mil, if that's what we requested of the board and the voters, it was around 870 or 859,000 and some change. This year, they're saying that at 0.50, it's now 928,199.
Good to know.
Yeah, so this is something we could incorporate into our presentation. Then on page 21, this is a summary of local road needs by township. So if you see, look at Scio, total needs for local paved roads, 5,978,880. Total needs for local unpaved is 2,200,000 and on and on. So an average 10-year annual expenditure would be $819,968 per year. And that's not including culverts, which culverts we don't have to do very often. Oh, and I'll have to fill you in about the Park Road culvert. There's an issue over there.
So assuming that the millage goes on the ballot and gets passed, and we have 900,000+, then we add to that 233 from the road commission, because now we've easily matched, so now we're talking about well over $1 million annually to be able to spend on the roads, which is in excess of the 819 that they're suggesting.
Yeah.
Nice. That would be very nice.
What is that 10-year index for inflation?
I don't know.
So
That's a good
gotta be
question.
careful. We need contingency funds.
That's true, that's true.
Yes,
Yeah,
so,
inflation, yeah.
right, we wouldn't want to spend the whole
No, but I'm just
800
saying
or
that.
whatever. And we still need to put aside for bridges and culverts. You know, it's, those things, we don't have to spend money very often, but when we do, it's a big expenditure.
Can I ask a $100,000 question, sort of?
Sure.
The Park Road project, we move forward, 2028, construction starts, and the township is due to come up. The 1.2 million, just to kind of use their figures, that we're gonna have to come up with as our portion of the project. Would that be assuming that the millage, would the assumption be that would just be millage money? Okay.
Could be general funds as well, could be whatever the board decides on that. And, you know, I was thinking about that because if it's, let's say 2028 and everything just unfolds nicely and everybody's like, yeah, we're doing this. And we have this millage, well, we'll have 2027 and then 2028. We've already have our capital improvement plan.
Right.
And so the first 3 years, we have focused on gravel roads,
Right.
which are less money than a paved or whatever. We could actually have the money to put towards just that paving project, or that, because the pathway is going to come from the millage, the pathways millage. So we would be able to do that, and then after that big project is finished, then we could focus on other paved roads.
City public roads, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, and that's where the presentation comes in, and,
All right.
we wouldn't be using millage money to pave roads. They would only be maintenance and improvements. And talking with Adam from the road commission, he had some really good ideas on how, because I said, well, we have it down pat with our gravel roads, and we have a system with our gravel roads, but with our, the millage funds that that will potentially be, but we're kind of stuck on the paved roads and what to do with that as far as maintenance and, neighborhood roads. And he said he has some ideas. He said that he can come and have a presentation just regarding that would help us.
Definitely, we should use Adam. He's offered. We should definitely use Adam.
So when you get a chance, read through the local road funding packet. This is just for this year, of course. And you may want to even look at last year just to compare. It's always fun. Oh, and then they have their Paiser rating in the back for the paved roads. Okay. Dave, do you have anything? It looks like you're having a thought.
Sure.
Okay. All right, let's see. We were on H1, then H2, now we're on H3. So the road funding presentation for the Board of Trustees. This was, and that was the title, I believe, that Roy, well, no, I guess the Board of Trustees, okay. So when I was cleaning up my desktop and, I have all these files and whatnot, and I came across this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this. So it was when Roy Townsend Patrick Shields and Bob Walsh were on the road advisory committee with us. Some of you weren't here, but this was also part of what we were going to present to the board back in the day. So they sat down and they created this together. They brought it back and then things just kind of unfolded. I believe there was an election and some other stuff that happened. But just reading through, it's kind of the same as what we're looking at. There's some things that would need to be removed that wouldn't apply, but, and also we would have to talk to Adam, because some of these like mill and fill 2 miles at $350,000 a mile, I don't think it's that it's a lot more now than it was back then.
Yeah, so the monetary figures need to be updated.
Yeah, but I'm suggesting for everybody to look through this. Now, what they were requesting at the time, an initial estimate of the cost is $1.358 million per year based on taxable value of $1.6 billion. The equals, I think they meant that equals an annual millage of 0.85 to pay for the work. Well, that was back then. It's different now. We have, so these things need to be changed. And they have a proposal for a 6-year millage to fund this effort. And we need to look at that as well, 5 years or 10 years. Now, with the longer you have a millage, we're going to lose money over time because of the Headley rollback. That could go, it could stay the same or go back, kind of rolls back, so we would lose money.
Explain that to me.
In a nutshell, we'd have to get into all the details, but the Headley rollback, so it has to do at the state level where they're saying that things get capped.
Property taxes.
Well, this is more, yes, and I'm not doing this justice at all.
Like the effectiveness of your dollar diminishes over time.
It's not quite. This has to do with the taxes.
Rate of inflation and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I thought I remember reading something like that, that property taxes.
Ryan, our treasurer, Ryan Abel, could explain this probably, I know, a lot better than I can.
I got a question. How does that differ from what we already presented to the board?
We didn't present a millage or the millage request or anything like that.
Yeah. Help me out here. I went through this, I went through our presentation. I don't see a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, their number's higher. That's the difference. But yeah, same basic premise, wasn't it?
Yeah. Some of the slides are almost the same.
Ours are better.
So
Well,
I don't know what we're going to gain by putting an updated this together versus what we already gave them. We've been talking for the past 2 meetings that we need to answer their questions. And
Well, what
we don't know
questions
what
do
their
they have,
questions
Bob?
are. I invited Dave Reed to this meeting.
Bob, we've had this conversation. We present to the board our recommendations. Then they say to us, yes, no, or something in between. And then we go back and then we revise it.
So our recommendation is we want a millage and we want this much. Isn't that what we need to get to at some point?
Yeah,
And
that's what we need to present to them.
Here's the data behind it and why we're asking, which is whatever way we decide to come up with it. So, I mean, the road funding packet from WCRC has got a number of 800 and something thousand, which to me lines up with what we've been talking about this whole time. Roy's document is a little bit higher than I remember, and that's fine. But yeah, we think we have a fairly good idea of what we want. Just go ask. And I don't know.
Well, yeah,
Hear what
but
the answer is.
this is just for roads. Remember, we have to have money also for culverts and bridges. So we could even ask for 0.55, 0.5 goes to roads, the 0.5 goes to culverts and bridges.
Yeah, I don't have any visibility on. I think we got reasonable visibility through the Excel spreadsheet to
The
compendium, yeah, to get a reasonable estimate of cost. I think we're in the ballpark of 800. And then we don't really have any visibility on culverts, do we?
There's, so he, in here, in this, they provided us a map for Scio Township for culverts. Was that in this road funding packet or the road?
There is something in there, I swear I just saw it.
Yeah,
I
and
unloaded
that
it.
could give us an idea, and then we have, took notes here.
So page 18,
You put $100,000 a year in here for culverts.
We did?
Yeah, that's what Roy put in.
Okay.
So maybe that's why
Page
his amount is higher, the millage.
page 20 is the culvert
I see like a, yeah.
Page
I
20
see something on page 14.
of the funding
The
packet.
funding
I see
packet.
something on page 14 as well, like.
Page 5 of the Roy document is called.
And how much, do they separate the cost for the culverts?
100,000.
100,000?
There are 10 culverts and 8 local bridges.
Okay, I'm sorry, I've lost the page again. There's,
On
What are you
page-
looking at, Adam? Oh, on the road funding package?
Yeah, on page 12 of the road funding packet, there's a breakdown of road miles, but it also includes local bridges and local culverts. I don't know if that helps or not, but we have 8 bridges, 10 culverts. I'm not seeing a dollar amount fixed to those.
I still don't know what page you're,
Page 12 of the road funding package.
12 of the,
it says a public road miles chart by town.
yeah, on the right-hand side, those final 2 columns,
Oh,
local bridges.
oh, good, thank
We
you.
have 8 bridges, 10 culverts
Yep.
in our presentation.
Yep, that's right.
Now, we've had 3 culverts, well, 2 culverts replaced, and then the Park Road culvert, remind me to tell you about that tonight at some point, but, so it'll be 3 that are replaced. The big culvert on Parkland Plaza that was replaced a couple of years ago. But there should be a map that shows fair, good, and
On page 20 something in the road funding packet, page 20 is culverts and span size, bridge locations, and so on.
yeah.
Page 20 of the road funding package, not the Roy packet, but the road packet, road commission.
Yeah, and actually,
Bridges.
the culvert in red, that's the Park Road culvert, but then the rest of them are pretty good. There's a bridge there on West Delhi that has a poor condition rating. We'll have to find out what that's about. Oh, there's one other culvert.
There's another bridge at Parker Liberty. Road commission rating.
That's on a primary road, so we may not have to fund that.
So it's just local road bridges and culverts that were,
Yeah, and it depends on the size of it, the culvert. I mean, it has to be over 5 foot in diameter, I
they
believe.
have less than 5, greater than 5.
So that greater than 5 in poor condition, the circles, one's green, one's red?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's a poor condition culvert on Huron River Drive, but that's also a primary road.
Yeah,
And Dexter Ann Arbor is a primary road. Park Road is a primary road. So it looks like all of these are on primary, except for the very bottommost one.
no, Park Road is not a primary,
Oh, it's not, okay.
so that we applied for our grants for ARPA funds through the Drain Commission, and we were able to get the funds to cover Knight Road, West Delhi, and Park Road culverts.
Scio Church is a primary road though, right?
Yes.
Because south of Scio Church on the road commission map is a poor culvert out the street, way down at the bottom. Just south of Scio Church, bottom left-hand corner of the township. dot?
I can't see what that is next to it.
That's outside the township, right?
Yeah, it's still the township.
Oh, is it?
I think so. Scio Church isn't the southern border of the township, is it?
Yeah.
Actually, Scio Church
Yeah.
is, okay, so then that's Lodi then, right? Below Scio Church is Lodi? Okay, that's Dodson. All right.
So then, okay.
Yeah.
So regarding this presentation, I think that we need to meet another time and button this up so we can present to the board on April, that first meeting in April.
We had specified in previous meetings that we were going to target the board meeting on the 14th of April.
Oh, that's the first one, yeah.
That's our first stab to make our presentation.
Okay.
And then go back with feedback to rework was what the plan was. Now, I might be speaking out of turn here, but I had a conversation with John Reiser today. And I said, as a trustee, just as a trustee, I'm doing drama towards you. What questions do you have and what do you want to see? What do you individually, person, want to see? Not talking about, are you going to be able to do it or not? How are you going to do it to the residents? Because he was all over the place. He basically said he would want to know how roads are funded, which is what we're going to be talking about. Village, SADS, which is part of this task thing right here. And any grants or anything like that. And then he says, so tell us why you want the millage. He said that he would want to know the condition of the roads. How are they rated? How are they graded? So there's Paisley ratings. I think he was asking for, what are the conditions of our roads? I mean, are they good, bad, or indifferent? Paisley ratings and that kind of thing. So that part of the presentation he would want to see is like a little breakdown of the conditions of the roads. He would want to know how the dollars would be used. And he's kind of, it was kind of hard to pin him down a little bit. He said that he would want to know the general the cost per household. I think they did that in the fire millage. When they were doing presentations, they were amortizing it out to generally roughly a cost per 0.5 millage, 0.5 over, let's say, 10 years.
Remember that, Bob?
There was in the presentations, there was that. I remember coming to Chief Hood's.
Yeah, but what they used was, they said, oh, the house is only worth 300 or 400,000. And our houses are worth a lot more than that. A lot of houses.
I understand, but I mean, and
so
maybe you
they weren't forthcoming.
Okay, but, okay. So in this case, whether you do it by 200,000 to 350,000, right now I'm not digging that. I'm just saying that I think that's a valid thing about what might this look like per year for residents, roughly, median household. I mean, we can debate all that.
But, okay, but hold on to that thought right there, but, so it's $1,000, like, so 1 mil, if, let's say we're requesting 1 mil for roads, we're not, but just say, that's $1 per $1,000 of your taxable value.
Right.
So that's what we could have some type of mathematical formula.
We could easily find the median
Yeah.
value and say for the median household in the township, it would equate to this.
And he was just saying that he would like that if in presentation that he said that would be value, he would enjoy hearing that. And like I said, in the fire presentations that Chief Hood did, he did do some breakdown like that, what it was going to cost people, that kind of thing. So those questions, that information is what he said that he would want to see.
Okay.
It's good feedback.
You know, as to where's the money going to come from? How is it going to be spent? Which we talked about, which is all the things we're talking about. How do SADs fit in? How do grants fit in? Are grants available? I mean, other than millage and general fund and SAD, are there any other options was another question he asked. Is there any
Yeah,
other
there's
funding source?
There's an option, the board could just impose a 3 mil levy without any vote whatsoever. And I've said that over and over again, I would not be in favor of it, but
No,
they have brought it up in the past.
They're not gonna, but I think he was talking more in the way of like grants or other places where money could be found besides SADS, millage, and general fund. It was just, and again, I'm just throwing all of this out there as cards on the table for what he said. This is the kind of stuff I would want to hear from. So.
That's great. I'm glad that you're able to connect with him and he was answering.
It's a challenge.
Did anyone else, were you able to, Bob, you didn't hear back from David, did he?
I was also going to reach out to Kathy Knoll because I do talk with her. I mean, I have that, I can talk with her. She's been quite ill apparently, and so I was gonna call her tomorrow to see if she'd be willing to talk to me on the phone rather than a meet face-to-face. Because she basically threw that off the board. She says she didn't know if even next week she'd be able to meet with me. So I'm gonna try to I didn't get a chance to have that before this meeting, but I will put that conversation, should I put that conversation, the notes of that in a email to the Carriage Committee once I have it?
Sure.
I mean, or should we wait and keep it for, because we had also talked about meeting between now, another meeting for RAC between now and the 14th.
Yeah.
You know, because our RAC meeting,
The next one would be April.
our next meeting, our RAC, well, our first RAC meeting is before the presentation is the
April
1st.
Yeah.
But I would guess that we probably need something between today and April 1st to kind of pull it together. Because April 1st is where we're saying, okay, here's the presentation, here's who's going to talk about it, who's going to do the presenting, and so on. It's kind of our dress rehearsal, so to speak. So would you like me to hold Kathy's conversation, assuming that I have that with her, until our next March meeting? Or should I just
No,
email
send it, but just remember, we cannot have conversations through emails.
Okay.
So
So I just said,
you
here's
can
a-
reply to Caroline or to any of, if somebody sends out an email, you can reply to that person, but
Okay.
we need to avoid triggering a conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, there was something else that you just said. Okay, let it go. It'll come back after the meeting's over.
So that's the only person we've heard from so far is John Reiser.
Right.
Okay,
But these are good questions.
that's great, yeah.
So it just, and we talked about this at the last RAC meeting, about it would help us to know what questions they're going to be asking up front, kind of investigative, whatever. So, yeah, so he was, so
Okay.
I will try to track down Kathy and then email the group with what her input is.
Okay, so regarding meeting again in between the meetings, we meet on Wednesdays already. Are Wednesdays still good? And if what's 2 weeks from, 2 weeks from now?
The 18th.
That would work, I think, for me.
Yep, works for me too.
Bob, are you available? Okay, so we're gonna meet,
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Do you want me to send that?
what did you say?
Same bad
I have-
time, same bad channel.
Same bat, oh gosh. You got it, you get it?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Ian don't know because.
Okay.
I got it.
What kind of television did you watch?
We got it. He's a Brit, maybe he didn't watch Batman back in
You
the
got
time.
television? Anyone?
We did, yeah. It's quite surprising, that.
American television?
So, yeah.
Batman?
Okay, so
It's not as fun as British
So,
television.
Okay, so 6:30 on the 18th.
Oh, what do you think about meeting at 6?
Okay,
Yeah,
Would
fine.
that be?
works for me, yeah, 6.
And actually, I did want to see if we could even, from now on, meet at 6. We would have to change that in the website and all of that, but the board, and there's a lot of other committees that are meeting at 6 instead of 6:30 or 7.
That works for me, but
It-
I don't, I mean,
dinner
I'm not
time.
employed, I mean, our employed people.
Oh, yeah, the bread.
No, we have another person who's employed, we have all the rest of them, and then,
Those items, details, we should go over that again and see if we want to make assignments between now and the 18th.
Oh, sure.
you mean from
The
risers?
Yeah, the riser questions. Because I think some we already have.
Yeah, I mean, between Patrick's document, Patrick Townsend Walsh document, and then I think this is, without the colorful, the pretty slides, I think this is your guys'. Is that your guys' actual, like, your stuff that was from when you and Bob made that?
This right here is
That
what we
one,
put together.
but without the,
We had Pazer in there.
I think that this is, I don't know where this,
Is that from Webster?
Well, that's all right. That's what I'm
no, this
asking.
isn't from Webster.
That's why I'm saying we ought to review by item and divvy it up. Because I think some we already have and some.
Yeah, because I'm just saying that we could, taking riser and kind of combining these and saying, okay, this is a riser, this is a riser, this is a riser, and then do that, yeah.
I get it. What's open on the riser list is what I'm
Oh.
asking.
Yeah.
So how roads are funded, that's a question.
Yeah, one is on page 3 of our tasks, this one, this tasks one. Is that the text from your guys' presentation?
Kind of looks similar. I can check if you want.
Okay. On page 3 of the horizontal text one, it says road funding and project plan, presentation to board of trustees. There's road funding improvement plan, millage, SADS, capital improvement, year-to-year, public roads, non-HOA, HOA percentage, that needs to be discussed, and so on. And then the SAD, basically, that first section is kind of what we first brainstormed about the presentation. So it's kind of like a merging of, we're doing a Roy Townsend data dump, Ian.
No, but I think
Yeah.
what I'm saying is we ought to have all the data together so we can merge it on the 18th.
Yeah.
So what are we missing?
We are missing what's in here.
No, stop. Riser had specifics.
You said, how are roads funded?
Okay.
So that's the WCRC document right there.
So we have that.
Yes.
Check. Next.
He said that his, did you have something?
I'll be right back.
And then he said, so why do you want a millage? And I think the reason why I got the sense in the conversation was, if you got the I mean, his first question was, why not just use the general fund?
Well, wait a minute. We don't want the millage. That's wrong. He's off on the wrong path. It's for the board to say how we want to raise the funds, not us. If they want to use general funds versus a millage, that's their choice. We're telling them what needs to be done and with an estimate of how much money.
Right?
We're not going to tell them you need a millage. We said that at the last presentation.
We're proposing a millage.
If you remember, we said we would not say a millage. We said that they got to tell us what they want to do. Remember, Jillian? That they need to tell us if they want a millage or a general fund.
I think we need to propose that we're, as a road advisory committee, as part of the charge, in the last part of the charge, I read that little last section right there. I think that we need to propose that we say that part of how our roads funded, there's a general fund, there's SADs, there's a millage is a possibility, and then there's any grants that might show up somewhere along the way. So then he says, okay, so then what's the purpose of the millage? And that's to really stress on the general fund, and so on and so forth, and that as roads as this township grows, as the roads deteriorate and so on, that the amount of money needed to maintain the roads is going to exceed what will comfortably come out of the general fund. So this is a separate roads only. It relieves the stress off the general fund to be used for other township business. And it's a consistent amount of money, well, more or less, and so on and so forth. And so that is why, and I think that we do need to be asking for the millage. Yes, we're proposing a millage.
Yes, and the
Not
thing.
asking, but we're proposing.
We're recommending that you.
Recommending, yes.
Yeah, we're recommending a millage.
So it's still.
All those reasons.
The recommendation language still puts the onus on the board to make the final decision, whereas we're not.
Absolutely,
This
yeah.
is not the RAC asking for a millage.
No,
It's
no,
saying,
right. No, you're right.
here's our.
And that was part of our presentation the last time.
Yeah.
We said,
We're all
here are
saying.
your choices.
Yeah.
And basically, it funneled down to a millage. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but again, the reason why our committee was created is to make recommendations. So we have been studying this, we have been working hard, we have our compendium, we have driven the roads. So, and we listen to residents as well, and that's really where, when we chose the roads last year, some of them was resident driven. So this is where it's all about serving the community. And to have a dedicated, ongoing funding source, the millage is the best way to go. Special assessments are not to be used for township-wide because there's the whole, especially under Public Act 188, because there's a whole, it cannot go outside of the scope of that act.
No, I understand.
Yes, but this is where, because they're gonna bring up SADS, this is where we, and I brought this up before, is that we could still provide special assessments, but for roads that are either private, because that's a whole Public Act 139, or if they want their gravel road paved.
Right, and I think reiterating that to the board, clarifying, you cannot have a township-wide SAD done, that's off the board.
Even though, right.
Yeah, it was before, but that wasn't, so that's off the board. And describing SADs the way you're talking about right now, there's private road SADs, which are one animal, and there's public road SADs, which are upgrading from gravel to paved. Those are the SADs. And talking about SADs and educating the board about that, because I still think that because John mentioned to me, he says, well, what about a county-wide SAD? And I wasn't, that conversation with him was not about informing him. I just wrote it. I said, okay, so he obviously is under the misunderstanding that you can have a township-wide SAD. So the board needs to be educated about the reality of SADs.
What else is on his list?
And then he talked a lot about road conditions. He says, how do we know what the road conditions are?
That's where we can walk through Pazer, and then we can talk through the process where we went through maintenance history.
Right.
And use that as a proxy for, because we don't have currently a better measurement for a lot of these roads. I think that's what else.
The WCRC has done a lot of the homework for us. If you look on page 21, it specifically breaks down what Scio Township's costs are going to be over the next 10 years to maintain the roads. So I agree that we have to put this together, but to me, simpler is gooder. And I wouldn't make this a 25-page presentation. I would make it as simple and as straightforward, answering his questions, but then the closing document should be the validation that we get from the road commission saying, this is what we're going to need to make our roads safe and usable for the next 10 years.
And I think a little ace card to tuck in our back pocket, because it was the question that I asked at the commission thing last week, is that Webster uses a rating system for their dirt roads, for their gravel roads, and I asked the road commission why they don't use it, and they said it just varies. It's not a solid, because so if it comes up, well, you have Pazer for paved roads, but what about gravel roads? Is there any kind of rating system? Well, there is a Michigan rating system, but the road commission doesn't even use it.
Yeah, and the reason why is because there's traffic, there's weather,
It just changes. It's
I mean, if
always
there's
changing.
a bog
So we
under
did the
it.
best we could.
Right.
by looking
So,
at.
so what Alex is saying, yeah, we looked at the road history, who's been touched and who hasn't.
Right.
And that kind of stuff. So that is how we're rating and deciding and that kind of thing. So, and you said by who? Well, the Paisley ratings come from WCRC, and the rest of it were based on our hard work of creating the compendium and studying history and so on and so forth. Yeah, exactly.
And then the quadrants and the sections, you know, we're
Exactly.
trying to make it as
And
fair as
looking-
possible.
Yeah, it's not set in stone
Balance the
either, right?
money.
It's like, this is,
Right.
Is there anything else on this?
So then he said, he said, how would the dollars be used? And I think that's funding the continual, I mean, it's kind of what you talked about. We're kind of, I have to talk, I'm sorry.
Thank
gotta
you.
go help with bedtime, I'm really sorry.
Yeah,
And good night,
understandable.
everyone.
Thank you, I'll watch the rest of it.
Is, I think, how would it be used? I think that's a good time maybe to insert what you were talking about, Jillian, that our plan that we put to the board concentrated mostly on gravel roads initially. But we are also looking at bridges and culverts, and we're also looking at then public paved roads and how we can maintain those. And there are subdivisions in Scio Township that have public paved roads, and how we can assist them to maintain the roads, because as everybody knows, which we'll inform them, maintenance is better than letting it rot away and then having to rebuild the darn thing. So how would the money be used? That's kind of that type of stuff.
Okay.
And then
Cost per household.
cost per household, he had in there.
Well, I think for how the money be used is that plan we put together, the 5-year plan.
Right.
The
But I think that he's talking, he was talking about kind of an ongoing thing. Okay, you have your 5-year plan, but, so we're talking about, you know, paying more attention to gravel roads, assisting, paving public roads eventually, assisting with that, culverts and bridges. That's how this money would be used.
It's not very detailed, though.
And then,
It's not very detailed.
well,
The 5-year plan is detailed.
but I got this,
Right,
yeah, I see what you're saying, Bob, but I think I got the sense that he was also saying, okay, beyond that. I mean, kind of give me a broad brushstroke how you're gonna be using this money.
What do you mean beyond that?
yeah, because it
Beyond
really,
the
it
5.
can't be really beyond, because we have to have a
In the
plan
business
every
world.
year, our list, and then 100,000, let's say, just an example, 100,000 every year is gonna go into an investment fund for culverts and bridges alone. And here's a bridge that we know is gonna need some work, or here's a culvert replacement, and really, we don't wanna be blindsided by having a culvert or bridge, that's,
Yeah, so,
so I think this, oh, go ahead.
You know, short-term planning is 18 months, midterm planning is 3 years, long-term planning is 5 years. If you plan anything past 5 years in business world at Ford, you were wasting your time because of change of policies, politics, people, funding.
EVs.
So, I'm sorry?
Yeah, EVs.
So I understand what they're trying to say, but in reality, 5 years is a realistic
I think
thing to
you
put your arms
give a
around.
really good point there. And I think we can still say beyond that is more of same. I mean, as,
Yes, we have the process.
yeah, the process in place
Yeah,
for
this will
us.
follow this process that we developed the 5-year plan on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a window that will just move like this as.
The road funding package from WRC kind of validates all this anyway. It's got
Yeah.
five-year reoccurring cost.
Yeah.
And roads don't just suddenly stop falling apart, do they? I mean, we
No.
use them and they wear out. So
Yeah.
we've got a pretty good idea that our budget's on, you know, what we need.
Right,
And it's just ongoing.
right,
Because it is.
exactly.
So the capital improvement plan is a 6-year, just by statute, 6 years. We created it, our 6-year plan. Well, that's 6 years out, but the plan for this year, we know what we want.
Right.
Okay, then next year, we're gonna create that 6-year plan again. We're gonna have a template, but we could look and say, oh, wait a minute, this road, we heard it really needs the work, so let's move this road over.
Right.
And then so on. So it's
So
gonna
which
be,
I
it's not
think-
like set in stone, only 6 years, and when we get to that 6-year mark, then we're gonna start.
No, absolutely. And I think that kind of speaks to his second question is like, how is the evaluation done? Which then we say, this is what the road advisory committee does. This is what we do.
If you bring us cookies and are really nice to us, then you get your own, no.
I try to bring cookies.
Well,
It's a
well, I
joke.
think we go back to the historical analysis.
Yeah, right,
We do. And then we say, okay, next year, we went out to 2030, right?
right,
Next year, we go out to 2031.
right.
And we review what's in the prior 5 years. And
Right.
see if that still is
Right.
applicable. And if anything else has come up that needs to replace one of those, we listen. It's a semi-living document.
Right, exactly.
And your point earlier about the contingency, you know, we, up to a certain amount, and then we're gonna have a little bit of a contingency because there could be, I don't know, a sinkhole that we have to take care of. Hopefully not.
Or inflation eats up
Inflation,
again,
I
and
mean,
we're
yeah.
in the soup.
Okay, so I guess we've answered these questions and we don't have to do our homework in between.
We want to make sure.
No, I think we should all continue to look at this and
What if
any
we
other
did-
ideas.
What if we did this as a committee? Take a look at all this information we have, the road funding packet, the Roy Patrick document, our task sheet that we had, and what we've discussed about riser input, and then whatever Kathy Knoll's input is. And on the 14th, we each come with an outline. 18th. We each come with an outline. If I were giving this presentation, if Caroline Altamar were giving the presentation to the board, here's how I'd do it. And just kind of, I don't know.
Well, how about this? I like that idea. Let's take it one step. The presentation that, yes, there you go.
We just
So-
need to embellish this a little bit.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's all
Yeah.
here.
It's all there. Simpler, the gooder.
I vote Bob and Ian. We just do it again.
With
That
with
I've
a
got
little
the
bit
old
more
one. We
detail,
start editing it.
with a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, with risers, questions, and then,
The history and the 5-year plan that we
local-
developed. But I think this forms the basis of what we're talking about.
That presentation, those slides, that PowerPoint, that was probably attached to an agenda for RAC, right, at some time? I'm trying to think of an
you
easy
think
way
you
for
could
me
send
to
it
find
again?
it.
I have it.
Could you send it to the committee,
Send it
please?
to everybody.
Presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
can refresh, because it,
Well, I just didn't want to have you send it again if I already had it, but it,
I don't mind.
okay,
It's
thanks.
easy. I got it already, thank
Thank you.
you. The other question, should I send an invite for the 18th so we've got it on the radar, a calendar? Or will somebody do that?
I'll do that.
Like, I already
Like I
got,
know-
well, I have
got
to,
one running.
I have to create an agenda that's gonna be posted on the website, so just like what we usually do, she'll,
then
Caroline,
when
you send
you
out an
get-
email, and
I put it
then,
in the minutes that we're going to meet.
Right,
Yeah.
so the 9th of
I
March.
have to block out my time.
Yep.
So I'm,
So the 9th of March, I will be sending out the normal, hey, RAC, we're having this meeting. If you have agenda items, let Jillian know, and if you're not going to be there, blah, blah, blah.
oh, you know what? Could you pull up the Scio website, please, somebody?
what do you need? I've got it.
And under upcoming meetings, scroll down to March 18th and see if there's a meeting for that day for another committee. Because I'll have to reserve this room.
On the 18th, there's nothing. There's the 19th zoning board of appeals.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll,
12th and the 19th.
okay. Then I'll get that in right away, so we'll have the room.
So,
So March 9th, you will send out an email, Caroline?
the invitation, yeah, or
Invitation.
invitation reminder.
And anything that you have that you want included in the agenda, just send it to me. All right. Okay. Anything else regarding this topic? Okay, then let's move on to the meeting minutes, the approval or the acceptance of the meeting minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, there's probably no changes. Bob always takes good minutes. All in favor of approving or accepting the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. All right. And then we have, okay, so this is good. And then let's go to public comment. This is the time for members of the public to speak up to 5 minutes on any matter under the purview of the Roads Advisory Committee. And
Who's left on the phone?
Sally?
Mary
Everybody's
G,
good.
Paula, and Scio.
I did want to ask you what you were going to say about the culvert.
Oh, yes, thank you, thank you. So the Park Road culvert,
Are you talking about the one at Park and Stabler, or the
No.
the one on Stabler?
no, that one's good. That better be good after everything's been, oh my gosh. No, it's east of Zeeb Road, going towards Parkland Plaza. There's a culvert, I don't know how big it is. Anyways, it's in bad shape. And this is one of the culverts that we received the ARPA grant. Anyways, the road commission went out there to look at it, and it's gonna be a bigger culvert. However, our water main line is under there somewhere, which we can't find, so we have to bring in a company, so this is kind of holding back the project. And I just spoke with our utility director yesterday, and I can't remember the term of the equipment that's going to be used, but no matter what, there's gonna have to be some water sewer. That pipe has to be either moved or
Relocated or lowered?
lowered, yeah.
And which culvert is this?
Park Road, so if you're on Zeeb and you're going to, on Park Road towards Parkland Plaza, it's right there where Huron River Swim Club. There's a creek, I think isn't that U of M Creek or a subsidiary of Honey Creek or whatever?
Yeah, like drain maybe?
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah, so that needs to be replaced. Eagles involved, there's a lot to it. So this summer, hopefully we'll be able to get that taken care of. But just in case anybody asks, because there's gonna be some road blockages there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for reminding. Angela.
Mary Gillis.
Okay, hi Mary.
Hi, guys, it's me again. With regard to your discussion of future roads funding, I suggest that when you're deciding the length of time, if you do recommend a millage, I suggest that you consider the election cycle in terms of the amount of time. So, for example, if you chose 5 years of funding, and you got it on an election year, you would end up losing your funding in an off year and perhaps having to call a special election in order to renew it, which is quite expensive.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, so that was one issue that I thought of. And the other one is that it seems to me that it might bolster your argument if you had consulted with the finance team, either the interim Brian Camilleri or Nikki, the new finance director, about your figures, about the budget, I really don't know that much about the budget, but it just seems to me that consulting a finance expert about millage numbers and how those things go on from year to year, I think it would be reassuring to board members if the finance team had an opportunity to weigh in.
That's a good point. Yeah, and Mary, Brian is, well, I'm sure Nikki, our finance director, but either one, they would have more information on the Headley amendment. They would be able to
I'm sure they
explain it
would, yeah.
better than
Yeah.
I butchered it, but.
And Andrea is always the one who talks about Headley. I really don't in assessing. So,
Oh, right.
yeah, she's,
Oh, yeah.
she's actually the only person I've ever heard talk about Headley. So I think, so anyway, that's the stuff that came up for me, and that's the end of my comments. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, that's good. Anyone else?
No.
No? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn at, it looks like 8:30?
30,
It
yeah.
is, yeah.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 8:30.
Thank you
Good
for
meeting,
coming.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank